Desmond Tutu once said, in God's family, there are no outsiders, no enemies. Sounds simple, but it actually takes our entire Bible to bring it home. I mean, Scripture is one long story of healing, of returning people and communities to wholeness. And what does it mean then to be part of God's family? Well, that's what our readings tell us today. In Luke's Gospel, Jesus heals 10 people. One comes back to thank him. Most simply, we could say that this is a story about gratitude, an important part of our spiritual path. But there's more to it than that. It is about God's nature to give, whether we thank God or not. And what really it means when we say someone is saved, or translated in this text, made well. The story happens on the road, in a liminal space, in an unnamed village, among those whom society might consider insignificant. Jesus, traveling to Jerusalem, veers off the beaten path near Samaria, considered probably to be the wrong side of the tracks for himself, a Jew, intentionally to encounter someone considered outside his tribe. A reminder about the Samaritans. They were once part of the same Jewish tradition as Jesus. They diverged after this Assyrian conquest. They developed different customs and built their own temple on Mount Gerizim. And by Jesus' time, there was deep animosity between Jews and Samaritans. On his way, Jesus encounters those 10 lepers who remained at a distance, meaning they were all observing Levitical law. They don't offer Jesus any credentials. They don't promise to change and reform. They simply cry out, "Jesus, Master, have mercy on us." And that's where their healing begins. Not in deserving, but in asking. Jesus doesn't heal them immediately either. He tells them to go show themselves to the priests, and their healing unfolds as they go on their way. It reminds me of the 12-step saying, "Fake it till you make it." They were invited to walk in the way of wellness and to trust that heading in the right direction is in itself healing. Luke makes it clear it wasn't their personal merit or any correct belief that warranted God's love. All 10 lepers spoke the same words. "Have mercy on us. We need help beyond ourselves." And that was enough. It's really amazing what happens when we actually surrender and we ask for help. But asking does make us vulnerable to what can feel like God's unpredictable mercy. I mean, it seems generous at times, and at other times, it can seem absent. It would be easier if grace was a matter of cause and effect. But grace is not transactional, it's relational. As they went, only one saw, only one realized, noticed that he was healed, and it says that he stopped. That awareness transformed him. He turned around. The other places in the New Testament refers to turning as a place of conversion. It's the turning of one's heart and mind toward God. This healed man's life literally changed direction that day. Now we know that healing of our bodies doesn't often work like this, which is why this story is not about these beautiful but temporary vessels. This story is about the soul. The healed Samaritan, noticing, opened the door to reverence in his life. His body, once broken and excluded, became a temple of awareness. He was restored, not only in flesh, but in spirit. How often we can be like those 9 others. We might be moving toward wholeness and feel good about it, but busy, distracted, too distracted to notice the grace that is already working in our lives. Or we're caught up in an illusion that we don't need God's help with this thing. We mistake independence for strength. That kind kind of hubris is the opposite of gratitude. Marcus Borg wrote that Jesus' healing in this story, it's not about the physical restoration. It's about noticing. One leper saw that he was healed. That seeing invited gratitude, and that gratitude invited wholeness. Melody Beattie puts it this way, that gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns out that we have to, it turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity. Gratitude can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, and a stranger into a friend. Now, as powerful as gratitude is, it doesn't always come easily, especially in tumultuous times, when so much evil is being done in this world in the name of God. If we don't make an effort to be grateful, we will risk being swept up into resentment or worse, resignation. Gratitude becomes an act of resistance. In Bethlehem, where our faith was born, some Palestinian Christians, they take gratitude walks. Each morning they walk the neighborhood, past checkpoints, past rubble, and olive groves still standing, and name aloud what they are thankful for the sunrise, for these trees, for this breath, for our children still laughing. It's commonly said in Palestine as an expression of sumud, the Arabic concept of steadfast perseverance, that gratitude is how we refuse despair. Gratitude is how we refuse despair. Their thanksgiving isn't naive, it's defiant. It insists that life and beauty still have the final word, even in occupied soil. Like the Samaritan leper who turned back to give thanks, their gratitude is a reorientation toward wholeness, practiced in places of pain. It doesn't deny the wound. It insists that God's grace is still alive and at work within it. We know gratitude changes us. Research shows that daily gratitude, it rewires the brain, enhances empathy, reduces aggression, improves sleep and self-esteem, and strengthens mental health. But long before scientists studied this, Jesus embodied it. The same verb that's used in Luke's gospel for the Samaritan's thanksgiving is used by Jesus at the Last Supper, when he gives thanks for the bread and the wine. Giving thanks, Eucharisto, is not a noun, it is a verb, an action that we join into. The Samaritan asked, noticed, turned, and gave thanks. He saw not only his healed flesh, but the giver in the gift. He recognized his own burning bush, his chance to fall at the feet of eternity. He turned, he gave thanks, and was made whole. This is the heart of our gospel. Not simply healed bodies, but restored relationship. The wholeness that comes through communion with God. When Jesus asks, where are those other 9? Perhaps the question is meant for us. We, those others, are here. We're trying, we're making our way back to return gratitude for all we've been given. As Brene Brown reminds us, what separates privilege from entitlement is gratitude. Gratitude moves us from receiving grace to embodying it. Like the 9 who didn't return, we may rejoice at our healing and feel gratitude in this life for all that is good, but this gospel is asking more of us. It is asking us to act. In the leper's case, that action meant returning to the feet of Jesus. For us, gratitude put into action is specific to our own context, as we're challenged to find the feet of Christ in the less obvious incarnations, perhaps in the poor, the broken, or those broken down under the weight of our current administration, under the weight of climate change, wherever they are broken. Christ's feet are everywhere. Being restored, being made well is a gift and a call. This weekend we mark Indigenous Peoples Day, a time to remember that the land we inhabit has a story older and deeper than our own. The prophet Jeremiah told the exiles, what we heard read today, build houses and live in them. Plant gardens and eat what they produce. Seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you, for in its welfare you will find your welfare. It's a call to faithfully live on land that is not our own, seeking the flourishing of the whole community, not just our own tribe. For many Indigenous people, seeking the welfare of the land was never metaphorical. Gratitude and wholeness are inseparable from the health of the soil and the water and their neighbors. So perhaps the Samaritans turning back is also a homecoming, a reminder that wholeness begins when we see where we are and whose land we stand on, and who has been forgotten in our story. To be made whole is to be restored, rerooted, to belong rightly to the place that God has given us. Our beautiful community of All Saints, it is not the vibrant expression of God's love that it is today because of any one person, of their devotion or vision. We are, as one might say, victims of God's mercy, just like those healed lepers. We did nothing to earn any of this. But God has been in this place long before any of us arrived. This church is holy ground, gifted to all of us, whether we are Christian or agnostic, Muslim or post-religion. Christ offers all of us, that whole human family, the possibility of wholeness. Brother David Stendal-Rast once asked, "Can you be grateful for everything?" He answered, "No, not for everything, but in every moment." I pray we have the awareness of that healed Samaritan to make space for all and gratitude and wholeness. Wholeness, of course, is not about being cured, but about being connected, restored to relationship with God and one another and all of creation. And that's what we do here at this table each week. We bring forward the bread and the wine. You might have noticed we started bringing it forward from the back of the church since my arrival. Not the new tradition, an old tradition. It's an important symbol within our liturgy to bring it forward, to have people bring it forward. It's a symbol that we don't bring perfected selves. We bring our needs and our joys and our mercy-seeking hearts forward. And God takes what we offer and transforms it into communion. Just as with the offering that you put in the plate or you give online, it's not about paying the church. It's about offering, sending forward a part of yourself, throwing it at the feet of Jesus, in gratitude and in need, trusting it will be transformed by God's mercy. So that's it. That's your altar call for today. I told you I had some evangelical background. An altar call not just to come to this table and this altar, but to the altar in the world. Today, as we celebrate the Eucharist, I invite you to bring yourself as that healed Samaritan did. Despite your circumstances or prospects of your future, give in gratitude and humble your feet at the source of all that is. As Desmond Tutu said, in God's family there are no outsiders, no enemies. God's family is all given the gift of life and the possibility of wholeness, free of charge. It's up to us to make space for all, to see the burning bush in the narthex, the miracle of feeding in the kitchen, the resurrections that happen in the nursery, and even the multiplication of loaves and fishes in the budget. We can turn around as that one Samaritan did and face God who has heard our cry. Not the God who always delivers grace as we expect, but the God who wades through life with us, waiting to love us as much as we accept it. Amen.
Amen. Amen.